All right, we're gonna work on the yielding the shoulders lesson here. So I'm just gonna use the stick to kind of help get her shoulders over and hold it up horizontally and just push her shoulders over just like that. So she's moving over, but she's got like a cranky face, so I'm trying to wait here till she's a little bit better about it. There, she's avoiding it and trying to run away, so I'm just gonna tap her, and then she was trying to back up there, so I tap her forward, and I'm still holding the stick up so that she's not like completely, like, no pressure goes away when you start to leave. And then I just desensitize her because she got a little worried there about the stick. So like right here, she's getting worried, and I'm just trying to rub it on her face. I'm not trying to hit her with it or anything. So the tapping there got her a little worried, so I'm just desensitizing her. She can see she's like flinging her head down and stuff, and we'll just get rid of that worry there by desensitizing her. So like I need to put pressure on a horse that's like, you know, avoiding the pressure and trying to get away, and like she needs to know that like you can work through the pressure and it's not going to attack you. So like that's where the desensitizing comes in, and it's really important. So let me just ask again slowly. After desensitizing there, she took a nice step. When she took a step over, I clicked, and now I'm gonna feed her a handful of grain. So she moved over really nice, and her ears were decent, so I'm gonna reward her for that. So really, like with her, she moves over just fine. It's not really the act of moving the shoulders over, it's the part where she gets all offended and she thinks I'm gonna hit her, and she thinks like she needs to be defensive. That we need to work on. So I'm gonna do some more desensitizing here. So especially with a horse like that, you wanna sensitize, desensitize. That's super important. So I did the same thing here, asked her to move over, she moved over really nice. So as she's taking that step over, I click. I'm telling her what you're doing right now is what I want. So I click at the same time, and I take the pressure away with my stick and with my body language. And then I feed her, give her a second, and then I ask again. So I'm just holding it up and just rhythmically kind of moving it toward her face, and then desensitizing. So there I stopped. Her ears were all right. I didn't click. I'm just desensitizing her. Oh, maybe I did click actually. But she needs a lot of that desensitize. So I'm talking about her ears here. I'm really paying attention to those, and like she's not gonna pop the ears forward real fast. I'm just looking for a very slight forward movement of the ears. I just want like a little bit better with those, like right there. Like she moved over, and then she had a good tipping forward of her ears, so I clicked that and reward that. So she's pretty decent at this lesson. I'm trying to get the defensiveness out of her. She just thinks every time you walk toward her, you raise up a stick or your hand, her first instinct is to be defensive. So I'm just blocking it up here. I'm holding up a little higher because she's raising her head to try and get away there. So she took that outside leg away, and I released it. And then I didn't click because I didn't really have time there. Like as soon as she moved over, she walked forward, and I didn't want to reward her for moving forward. So I'm just giving her a second here. Just kind of hang out. Like she wanted to move off, so I'm just gonna let her rest, relax, like you're okay. And then we'll try the lesson again here in a second. If they do want to move a lot forward, you can also use the fence panels to like block their forward motion. She didn't get that bad though, that she was like doing that habitually, so I didn't need to use them. So she's just kind of being like, there she goes. She was backing up a lot and like being defensive instead of just pushing those shoulders over. When she did, I released. So I'm moving over to like get in front of the camera, but it also works two ways. I'm also retreating. So I'm like, hey, move over, and then I'll desensitize you and retreat. So it kind of, it helps the training as well. So if you're obviously not filming yourself, not making a video, retreating is also still a really good idea to do, especially if you have a horse that's a little bit worried about it. So you can use your hand or the rope like between your two hands and just kind of vibrate that so it moves. You can also use a dressage whip, lunge whip, it's kind of long, or like a driving whip. Any of those work. With her, I use I mean, with any horse really, it's easier to use the stick just because it's more solid. Those other whips are more bendy, so it's a little easier, but your goal really is to end up with those whips. This, I'm just starting off, so I'm using the stick, but if you want to do like bridleless riding or just to help with your steering, using the dressage whip to help them steer is really helpful. So this is the foundation exercise for that. Like you can see her neck and her withers twitching when I tapped her on the neck with the stick there. Like she's very, very sensitive to that touch. And I just kept going until she moved over, and now I'm desensitizing. She had like a habit at first where she shakes her head every time something touches her. So I just keep rubbing it until she stops doing that and relaxes. So there she's not shaking her head, but she tensed up a little bit before. So now it's better. So that I continued to go back and desensitize until she was more like relaxed. And then I'm just going to go back and do the other side and desensitize her. So I'm going to end by desensitizing her. She had some good steps, both going left and going to the right. And since she's a little worried about this lesson, I just want to end it by desensitizing.